Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Clark TV. My name is Marika, and we have here Mr. Clark of the Clark Academy, and he wants to share some tips with us tonight about how athletes should carry themselves, and more specifically, we want to zero in on soccer players. So, welcome.
Welcome, good night. As you can see, I take a different approach to the discussion by venturing a night here still. So that's still the best way you can be able to listen us and understand the thing that we are saying tonight.
What are some tips or nuggets that you can share with soccer players to make them more rounded individuals?
Well, soccer player, I am going to start from a personal hygiene perspective, because enough people does not understand the seriousness with personal hygiene with some of the players. Even though I'm coaching now, but in my days of playing, you really have some really uncomfortable sense that some people normally carry by playing a game, right? First, I think you should really work on cutting your toenails, right? Cutting your toenails, cut them properly. Don't cut and leave wholly at the nail over, because any you kick on anyone or the ball catch you there or you drop, you can develop an ingrown toenail. The larger portion of the nail can tear off, and these things can cause problems to take you out of the game for a long while. And next thing, like for cleaning between your toenails, to keep those areas dry and clean at all times. It's very important to prevent fungus and any other thing that can cause problem with
Or a
keeping.
bad odor?
Yeah, right. Because you know some people have wide variety of feet, name and all these things, you know, so and they need special care. Some people have to throw powder in them boot based on how them condition of them foot stenches. All these things you find people do. Well, especially for the young players then, I think the parents should encourage them more in order to learn how to clean, get their toes, organize their foot and these things, keep them clean, them socks keep clean and these things.
Wonderful. What about their gears?
Well, the gears, I don't expect a player to wear a shorts in 2 days straight. But some players have these things, have these beliefs about wearing the dirty shorts and the thinking shorts to make them more comfortable and play and them more lucky. Those are not things that I recommend. When a youth wear gears, I'm a youth get him gears clean and ready again to use him gears in the following day or evening or if possible, anytime. But just keep your gears clean. Make sure say your jersey, your shorts, and your brief for your wear, or you just your tights, right? Because people not playing a jockstrap like one time when me used to play. Them play mostly now in a tights and them look something. So them area there your body must always keep clean. You cannot wear duplicate these things. You can't get up every day and say yeah wear the same like a dirty brief and these things. And especially for the females, them wanna know say for you on a more looked up and when you know out there. So for no attainment and presentation of far much better than the young man them own. I have to prioritize this principle to ensure say we don't have no bra, we don't have no tights, and ensure say on the body in our right neck and these things before we go up on the field and them something. And these things are very important.
Wonderful. What are some tips that you have with regard to their academic performance in school?
Well, me believe, say from a player and a coach perspective, I believe say a child or an individual who prioritize education and involved in sports, not only soccer, any sports, they make them a better and a more advanced and a more supporting and encouraging. All of the complementary views them in terms of with supporting in their sports, being educated, help you to advance and be much better in that. So I think priority in education is very fundamental towards the balance of the individual in their ability to play in a better, get the best from them.
Okay. We know that every sport has rules, and so does football. And my question to you is, how can these players, especially young players, transfer some of the discipline that they learn in the sport to their everyday life?
I can tell you, it's very difficult in terms of the discipline of the individual. It's mostly a parental control that, because say you can't talk to the youth certainly, and the youth, sometimes the youth them a come out of environment where them in control of them parents, to be honest with you, because the parents, so because I want people to understand clearly, a young child have 4 parents. Yeah, it may sound like a joke, but 4 parents a man. And mother and father, and tablet and the internet. Right, and when the mother and father, he just leave the child with the tablet with the service panel. They do all kind of things, and it's difficult for you to really get them in a disciplined way in terms of, to be organized and get themselves structured. It's really difficult, but you have to work at it. You have to discover your psychological strength in terms of to reach out to the best of them, better part of them, so you can hear them, able to have them in the right and proper way of training.
Just to add to that, I'm wondering because if these players are going to make it internationally, then they have to be training on time. They have to do different skills. They have to listen to what the coaches say. So if you can't listen to your coach in the local area, then how are you going to improve your sport if you're just a law unto yourself?
All right. Let I explain to you that, especially for the children, the younger players, the parents is the first coach, right? For these children to excel, the parents have to give maximum support in order for them to be encouraged and enthused about the game. You cannot, you hear they talk about soccer mom and soccer dad and these things. When they mention these people are crazy people. These people travel all over the world to ensure that they're there with their children. Well, in our case, you don't have to go all over the world, but anything where your children, in terms of sports, you have to give them the full maximum support in order for them to feel you around them, right? And that is very important.
Wonderful. Switching gears now to mental health issues in sports and more specifically in soccer. What are some things you can tell players that they can do to help maintain a healthy state of mind? Sometimes people can be going through different things, maybe a death in the family, maybe a sick parent, challenges in school. What are some tips that you can give to help players to stay on top of their game even when they're going through challenges in life?
All right, from my understanding with mental health at this point in time, some people create a charade with it, right? It is real, it is there, but if each attitude of an individual displays, not necessarily to me, says mental issues, right? So sometimes you have to observe the person keenly and see if their behavior is continuous. And then you can be able to look at it after you exhaust most of these channels, so you can start put it one side to say, boy, this child have a mental health issue. Because if you serious or recognize mental health, everybody when they're in and around you don't sick.
They're right? Not sick. Having mental health challenges doesn't mean that you're sick. Excuse me. It means that you want to recognize the challenges that you have and find healthy ways of dealing with them. All right? So if you're going through whatever people go through, I don't know.
But no.
But the thing is, what can you do to stay on top of the game and not allow your situation to get the better of you?
But what I can think of in terms of help, in terms of resolve this situation, it's for the individual level, use the opportunity to see some support from their coach. Even say to an ex-player, talk to your coach and tell him, say, I want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. You have something to say. You can't do these things. Because the coach have a tendency to be smarter and wiser. And your best interest coaches look out for. Despite you hear everybody talk about aggression of coach and all these things, coaches are loving people, right? And they'll support you in every possible way they can. Right?
Wonderful. As we continue our discussion, we're going to ask you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, we're going to also ask you to share the videos with your friends and your family and neighbors and so on. Continuing on with the discussion, we want to ask Mr. Clark from the Clark Academy about what are some tips that he can tell soccer players that they can use to help themselves to obtain scholarships overseas or to help them to go pro if they're really good in their sport. What are some things that they can do to make sure that they're seen by the relevant persons in the sporting arena?
All right, for the sports, I just want to explain that because I really want to focus mainly on the youngsters instead. I want the parents to understand clearly. It doesn't matter how talented a child be, right? When a child be at some of these big clubs in Jamaica, they have a tendency to encourage them to have a professional footballer mentality and them lose sight of them schoolwork. I want you parents to really take note of these things and understand clearly what is happening. Because enough of the coaches, their children is not playing, right? So what I want you to focus on, when your child reach 13 or 14 year old and the club them hear that your child play for in under 13 or Colts or in under 15 and no club or nowhere in the world come for them, right? They don't have a club that select them for them how they play at that age group. When them reach that age group of 15 and 16, try and encourage them to get their schoolwork, their CXC and all these subjects intact, so they can pursue a next channel of going pro through the college situation. Remember, most of the young guys them what people say dominating Manning Cup over the years, trust me, most of them grades are fixed grade. Because I know that whenever the scholarship pool comes about, the one that will start and dominate the ball game, never yet been selected, is the one that always on the bench, will do them schoolwork and prioritize and responsibility and understand how the balances. They are the one that get selected for these universities. So I want parents to understand, don't let the court in the clubs them mislead the child by telling them that they are professionals and these things for them to lose sight and responsibility of taking their schoolwork seriously.
In other words, it's a balance between their schoolwork and their sport. Because I also realize from my experience with children that oftentimes the schools push them into the sport and they encourage them, and when they reach 18 and 19 and 20 they have nothing to fall back on and they're just sitting on the street.
When they get a major injury or a life-threatening injury.
Exactly. So in order to attain success, we have to be around the individual. We can't just be in the sport alone. We have to be able to read a contract when they go pro, so you know, do you agree or not?
They're going to have the agent if that possibly, but the fact still remain, the parents I'm talking, I want them to be serious about understanding the situation. Because the clubs, most of the coaches are very good at misleading the children and misleading the parents Because my parents have a son with a 9 or 10-year-old. They want that child, the parents want that child to play like how Messi play. They want that, their mindset for that child, their mindset for their child is to be the best possible footballer at the age of 9-year-old or 10-year-old. They don't see them at mastering the little basic fundamental. That's why I say whenever you see them, if them have some under 13 games and under 12 game, the parents is very irritated. If you don't stand up strong, work and broke at that place, because they believe say for them children are the best player them and they must play like how the big man them play. We want people to understand these things.
Yes. Good point. Respecting yourself and others, how does that play into the sport?
First, from your daily sports in general, especially team sport, you must aware that you are going to share most likely everything with other people. For in the case of football, you have 11 players out there that start in the game, and you have 17 on the bench or 16 on the bench or 18 on the bench, and plus in general you have like 30 overall on the squad. These players eventually are going to be like your family, right? You have to learn to give and take, give up your strength, learn from other people, share your strength and these things. And once you approach it like that, it's very easy for you to, you cannot go with in the negative attitude, even if you alone your parents have, or even if a 10 hour, the bad principle from home or from other areas that somehow need to come to the game with. You don't have to put that one side and learn to work with each other and compromise and have an understanding so you can have some fun and train and learn.
Great. My next question is, what drove you as a soccer player, and what do you think should be the center of each person's career as they try to reach for greatness in the sport? What drove you, and what do you think should be the driving force behind every individual, even though we're all different?
All right, each person have a different format, a unique format to drive them towards the sports that they're in. Right? Some people use football to get them out of a certain environment. But the fact still remain for the younger people, the children, them, the parents, them, try to help them to have better characteristic skills by getting socializing with other people and playing on these things. And it really do great for the children.
Yes.
Because some parents carry their children in every sport you can think of. And anyone them recognize they're really good at and enjoy playing. Or that I think they should focus on. The enjoyment of the sports that the child love. And kind of encourage them more there.
What about people though who they seem to like soccer and they like sports, but anytime they come on the ball field, I mean, it's more arguing than playing the sport. How do you deal with these challenges as a coach?
Some of those individuals have some ulterior motive, you know. You have to recognize those things from early, and you have to put those people one side. Because if you have a coach a team and you have individual with very bad attitude and these things, that's something we are going to surface throughout the entire team, you know. And you are going to ending up lose your better set of players than just because of one individual. So once you recognize that this player is not a team player, I trust for you. I don't say I'm not going to encourage them, you know. But I think if them unbearable to them one a teammate, it better you get them out of your program. Instead of you dead and waste time, because if they're old enough to be sensible, while because what I can tell you about a coach is an individual that support a player. They have this tendency to encourage them and support them and work on them in order for them to be better players and better exercise better characteristics. Coaches are like that. So when you say a coach look on an individual and say, you know what, me I go get rid of you from the club, or me I get rid of, they really exhaust all your channels.
Okay, wonderful point. Welcome back to Clark TV. We're going to ask you again to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Clark TV, CLARKE TV. We're going to wrap up our discussion tonight with the talk of dieting. Of course, we know that dieting doesn't mean that you're going to starve yourself now, but it's just basically what are you eating. So how do you prevent cramps? How do you maintain a healthy diet? What are some things that soccer players should make sure that they eat to ensure that they have high energy and they're getting all the nutrition that they need for their sport?
All right, my take on that is that just referring to the youngsters, remember, parents, it's your responsibility to ensure that your child or children get something substantial in the morning before they go and play. Preferably you have to train them from early, an hour and a half, 2 hours. After them eat, them can able to go do them sports and things. Your responsibility, that is your main responsibility to ensure. If normally you don't train the guys, them go training in the morning, you make sure you get up early, prepare them breakfast and then stuff. And make sure you have a large vessel with water for them in it. Because sometimes even though the club that the children they are at, they provide water, sometimes it's not the water where they're accustomed to at home. So you ensure that you give them their water bottle and don't let it be a ice water. You get me? Just make it be room temperature water, and you give them and then keeping at them things so whenever they want to rehydrate they can move towards that. And next thing I want parents to understand clearly. You're a fat child that you have. The fat child, yes, the fat child. That child is going to grow and chiseled and have a structured firm biometrics and all these things that everybody have a feel pleased and encouraged about him. Don't too pressure yourself, say boy my son or my daughter fat, that's why they not play. Work on their technique, same way, their technical ability in control, passing, moving the ball, kicking the ball. Make sure their football is in their brain. So as soon as their body started to change, because you have, when them reach 12, you know, them body literally a change. When them reach 14, it a change again. When they reach 16, it a change again. And they are getting fitter and stronger. So don't worry too much. And the next thing, stop worrying, say your child is too slow. My God, man. If you look on both of us as parents, none of them never fast in our life yet. Why don't you want the youth to be Usain Bolt? Right? Why you want the youth to be all of the fast people them and them so little bit? You have a next set of kids where enough people don't understand. They sit around some people where either a drink and a smoke continuously. And these residue from these things, this second-hand drinking scent and the second-hand smoking scent, affect the little young man. And when you see him come and him can't stop running and say, I want my son to be like that. Your son now have the ganja breath a blow all over him body. The liquor breath a blow upon him. Your son don't have that. Don't discourage your youth when you see other youth are run far from them. Just make them focus on the technique, the basic simple technical ability. Once the child have the football in his brain, that child is going to be a great player with his education. Your job as a parent, just focus on that, right? Don't focus on nothing else. Your daughter, you see your daughter now prioritize interest in playing the game. Remember, when a daughter reaches 11 or 12-year-old, your daughter mentality is going to change because other things are going to start happening to their body, right? So the earlier you teach them the technique is very important, right? And that is a focus when most or enough of the coaches I know in Jamaica in terms of coaching children, they prioritize the technical ability for the children. Them. So those are some good areas that we're doing great in Jamaica.
Awesome. How do you minimize muscle cramping? What should they do to minimize muscle cramping?
Well, sometimes, because I believe say a man injured from him blood, you know. Sometimes heredity, you know, sometimes the child not getting water or drinking enough water. Because you know, as well I tell you, these children, they're in control of the parents. And the tablet and internet is controlling them, right? So sometimes them have the water there and they don't want to drink it. A pear sweets them want. And if you look a young man, if you experience cramp, you know so that's a serious problem. But you just encourage them as parents to make sure so them drink plenty water before them go train and after them train. And don't give them no ice water. Okay. Don't broke them in no ice water.
What does the ice water do?
Well, over the years, that's something will really affect the cells and reorganize them in order to, your body warm up and your body have a cool again in order to get warm again for play and them stuff there.
Okay.
I don't think that is good on the organism. So I recommend for them not to drink any ice water. Sometimes I say the children them come with this bottle, pure ice in it. All they try to encourage them to not drink it. Them as a boy with them parents give them, and you have to allow them, but I'm not encouraging this ice water thing with the children them.
It was indeed a pleasure talking to you tonight, Mr. Clark. Thank you for your points that you shared with us, and we are asking again, viewers, that you like, share, and subscribe, and see you in the next video.
And remember, just understand that we have a lot of supporters so far, and we needed to improve and to be encouraged with the work that we are putting out. I have to big up the NWC people and big up my family, big up my brother and sisters, and big up NWC people, and Elton Park people, and big up Fox, you know who that is, right? Big up the people who really support the cause, and then know said these things are very important to help the children them still. So respect and subscribe to Clark TV.